Hi, I'm Christina and this is a book review video on Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. So this is a brand new thriller published this year and it's my first book by this author. We follow married couple Adam and Amelia who are both in their 40s. Adam is a screenwriter and he adapts lots of famous books into movies, and Amelia works at Battersea Dogs Home. Now their marriage is definitely on the rocks, and Amelia wins a holiday away to the Scottish Highlands in her works raffle. So they're both hoping that this trip is going to save their marriage. So every year on their anniversary, Amelia writes Adam a letter, but she never lets him read the contents of the letter until this year. And I really liked that kind of concept of it. So we see the story told through alternating chapters, mainly through the husband and the wife. And then we also see the letters that have been written to Adam every single year, and that's just placed in between the story itself. And I think that was my favourite aspect of the book overall. I really liked the way that we saw the letters and then we saw the progression of the story and how we saw it through a few different perspectives too. I liked that. And that's it about what I liked, I have to say. Overall, I thought this book was quite disappointing and I didn't really like it at all. So this is definitely going to turn more into a rant review, and I'll tell you why I didn't like it. Initially, I was quite enjoying this story, and then it just fell into that trap of becoming a run-of-the-mill thriller for me. And I just was never particularly invested in these characters or this story. I didn't feel attached to any of the characters. They didn't really feel like real people to me. They just felt quite one-dimensional and they just read to me like characters in a book. And yeah, I just wasn't invested enough in them. I will say though that there was definitely some twists and turns in here that I didn't predict, so it did surprise me at times. I didn't see necessarily where it was going to go. There were a few twists that I had predicted, but I think the main one I hadn't. So yes, it was a surprise, but no, it wasn't enough to save the book for me. Like I say, I just wasn't invested enough. So even though I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming, I didn't care enough to save the book for me. And yeah, overall, it was just a bit of a disappointment. I will say that it was a very quick read for me. The chapters are very short and very snappy. So if you like that kind of style, you might enjoy it more than I did. The thing I noticed that I didn't like about that style was there was a kind of mini cliffhanger at the end of every chapter, and then at the start of the next chapter it kind of revealed the mini cliffhanger, and I don't think that really worked for me. It just kind of took me out of the story a little bit. It was like stop and start, like, oh, here's the cliffhanger and here's the ending to that. And no, the writing style just didn't work for me. I think I prefer slightly longer chapters just to kind of sink my teeth into the story a bit more rather than constantly going back and forth. So overall, I just thought it was a bit of a disappointment. Without sounding too harsh, I'd label it best as it's just forgettable for me. Honestly, I think if you asked me in 2 weeks' time, I don't even think I could tell you the name of the main character. No. And then I think the general plot is just going to kind of blur into the medley of thrillers that I've read in the past. And yeah, I think in a month or two's time, I won't be able to tell you anything at all about this book. So yeah, a little bit forgettable, and I wouldn't recommend this one. I think honestly, just skip it. There's better thrillers out there, and yeah, I don't think this one is much to write home about. So bit of a disappointment. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It's not a bad book by any means, but I think there's a lot better thrillers out there for me. I have read a lot of thrillers, so I probably am looking maybe for a little bit more. If you haven't read many thrillers, maybe you quite enjoy this one. But I kind of saw a lot of where this was coming from, and it wasn't anything like new or innovative or exciting. It was just kind of run-of-the-mill for me. So if you've read this book, definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to chat to you about it, whether you loved it, whether you hated it. or if you fancy reading it now, let me know. If you've read any of Alice Feeney's other work, definitely let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think this one is as good as her other books? Is it better, worse? If you think this one isn't very good and you like some of her other books, definitely let me know, because I'm not going to write her off as an author. I'll definitely read some of her backlist books if I think they sound interesting, but I'm not going to be in a rush to pick up another book just because the most recent one was a bit of a disappointment. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you liked it, and I will apologise for the lighting because it is so dark outside and the lighting is so bad. But I have to take this book back to the library tomorrow. I already have an 80p fine on it, so it needs to go back, and this is the only time I could film. So sorry about the lighting, normally it is a little bit better. But please do subscribe if you'd like to see more of me talking about books. I'll leave some of my other book review videos down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!